Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. Today, let's talk about some money hacks that we do that some of these things have helped us become millionaires and just be more smart and intentional with our finances. As I've been sharing content on like how we're retiring early and some of the things that we're doing on our Instagram at She's Making an Impact and inside the She's Making Impact Facebook group too. I'm getting a lot of questions on like, how does this work? What are you talking about? So I wanted to break down a few of the things that we do with you. Just to say, like, this is me and my husband. He is the one that is like super frugal. I am the one that is naturally a spender. So we work really well together, and we have really become a really great team when it comes to us and our finances and our goals. So as I'm sharing this stuff with you, just know it's not just me that's coming up with all this stuff. He is like a huge part of it. And he's awesome. Anyways, so one of the things that we do is credit card hacking. Credit card hacking, what does that mean? It means that we'll buy specific credit cards to take advantage of the sign up bonus. And also, depending on how we use it, we might use a specific credit card for a certain thing. Let me give you an example. I just signed up for a credit card with Chase. They actually signed up for two. One of them, it's like you spend like $3,000 or $4,000 in the first 90 days, and then you get a certain amount of like credit towards like airfare or something like that. And so I'll do that, and I'll just use that credit card for the first 90 days to make sure we hit that amount, and that way we get the bonus. Okay. Other things that we do, there's which Chase card do I use? It's the new Chase card. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. Chase Inc. Preferred. Chase Inc. Preferred card. That one gives you 3x on Facebook ad spend. So there are certain cards that I'll use for certain situations. So like, for example, because of the 3x ad spend and considering we spend like over $1,000 a day on Facebook ads, we get a lot of points just by making that one switch based off of other credit cards. Okay. So that is the one we use for Facebook ad spend. The Amex Platinum card is another one that I use and love because there are so many benefits to having that card. So example, I get into like every single airline lounge, and because we travel quite a bit, it's awesome in between travels of like, okay, I want to go to the lounge and then get free food and free whatever it is that you want at the lounge. It's nice to have. So the Amex Plus, with the Amex, you get clear when you go into the airport basically for free or at like a super big discount. And so with that, you don't have to wait in any of the lines. You just get to zip on by. I like doing that kind of stuff, especially with how much we travel. So credit card hacking, just take a look. If you just do some research, you'll be able to see what credit cards give you what points based off of what you're using it for. So if you want like travel cards, the other card that we used a lot is our Capital One card. So basically it's like everything we do in our business, any purchases that we can do, we're like, can we put it on a credit card? That being said, we do not carry any credit card debt. Okay. I do not believe in credit card debt. I'm like, nope. If I had to do it all over again and like invest in a business coach using credit card debt, I would have, just because I know the ROI of that. That being said, now no credit card debt. So we pay it off, but that has given us, free flights to Senegal, staying at beach resorts in Senegal, like anywhere in the world, you can use those points. So just think about, whatever credit card you're look at how you can optimize the points, because every credit card has different incentives or different things like that. So those are the main ones: the Chase Inc. Preferred card for ad spend, the Amex card for basically everything else. Before I got the Amex card, we were using the Capital One a lot. So we have like well over 1 million points, well over, that we can use for travel, which is fun. Okay. Other money hacks we do. We automate our investments. Now this might seem revolutionary to some of you, and some of you might be like, duh. But I read the book Automatic Millionaire maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And in the book, basically it's just like automate everything. So you don't have to think about it. So we automatically, like when we make money from our business, it automatically goes into our checking account. And then Vanguard, we do all of our investments through Vanguard. We automatically invest every single week into our Vanguard investments. Okay. So just think about how you can automate it to make the process that much more easy, simpler, whatever. So automate as much as you can. Okay. So that's one of the things we do. Other stuff that we do is just being smart and wise with our money. We don't buy any fancy cars. We drive used cars. One of the things that we do that's probably different than most people is we'll buy our car. So let's see, one of the cars we drive, it's like a 2007. It's still going great. So we just drive it until we can't drive it anymore. One of our strategies now, however, is we'll buy a car. So we have like a 2015, I want to say, van, 2016. I don't remember. My husband, he knows the details. We'll buy it and drive it as much as we can, and then we'll ship it to Senegal. So we have a car rental business in Senegal where we have cars that we're renting. We can rent it for like 50 to 75 euros a day. That alone is going to be a 6-figure revenue stream for us next year, which is pretty freaking cool, with very little overhead. So what we'll do is we'll drive the car as much as we can here, and then we have to ship it over to Senegal. It like has a certain age limit of it can't be older than, see, these are details my husband knows. Basically as old as we can keep it, and then we'll ship it over to Senegal, and then we'll continue to make money off of that car. So we do not buy new cars ever. We've never bought a new car, even though we could afford it and we could buy a new car in cash today if we wanted to. It's just why? Like, why would we spend that money when we could take it and multiply it and use that money to buy 5 to 10 cars that we could then ship over to Senegal and then have that producing cash flow? So it's just like the way we think about our finances is different. We can buy that liability of that nice fancy car if we wanted. We could get that Tesla, or we could take that money and buy these other cars that we ship over to Senegal and then cash flow. Does that make sense? So it's just like how we think about things in terms of asset versus liability means that we try to limit our liabilities as much as we possibly can and invest as much as we can, because we know, hey, if we invest this into cars, or we invest this into buying land in Senegal, or if we invest this into the stock market, whatever it is, we know the return on that investment. So it's like we could spend it here where it's going to go to zero and we're going to end up losing money over the long term. Or we could spend it here and invest it here where we know we're going to make our money back and then double it within X amount of time. So we just think about our money and how we can use it a little bit differently. How we furnished our entire apartment in France when we moved there, and then how we bought an equestrian property here in America, in the Orlando area, that we have a house on it. We're renting out the house. And how did we furnish both of those for under 2,000 euros, including appliances? Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. In France, there's a thing called Le Bon Coin, which is basically like French version of Craigslist. And this is my husband. Like he's the brains behind doing all things very, very cheaply. Basically furnished the entire place plus furniture there. And then when we moved to Senegal, we shipped our stuff from France to Senegal because it was cheaper to do that than it would be to buy new furniture there. So we're kind of looking at all the different angles of like, what's going to be more cost effective? What could we use? What could we even flip and resell? Because everything's imported in Senegal, we know we could take that money from, like, take the furniture and actually flip it and make a profit. So taking someone's trash essentially from like France's Craigslist and turn it into somebody's treasure because everything's so expensive in Senegal. So again, thinking about things differently. How we did it here, people just leave stuff on the curb. Like there's curb alerts all the time of people that are like, ooh, this has, like a small tear in it. And we're like, it's still good. So we'll just take it and we use that to furnish it. So Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, people putting their trash on the side of the road. Someone's trash is someone else's treasure. So that's how we did it. What else? So we just research where we can get things cheaper. And again, that's totally my husband. He's the one that has the patience and to do all that. The other thing that we do with our money is loyalty rewards. So we try to be loyal to one company. So like example, I fly a lot with United. And because of that, I have certain status with United, which then means I get free checked bags and priority seating and stuff like that. And lastly, is this helpful, by the way? Let me know if this is helpful and maybe helping you just think differently. Because I know when it comes to finances and investing and, like how we became millionaires, it really is coming down to how you think about money and how you use that money. So money versus time. And I always like to think of, is this going to save me money? Is this going to save me time? So example, I'm willing to spend money to get back more time. So I'm willing to spend the money to have someone come and clean our house. I'm willing to spend the money on Instacart. So that means I don't have to take the time to go shopping. I'm willing to spend the money to have a coach that's going to help me do things quicker than taking the time to figure it out on my own. So it's like once you start to look at money versus time, because the older I get, the more I realize time is such a precious asset. And I really want to make sure I'm maximizing my time in my business and also so I can spend as much time as I can with my family. So it's like I could be out grocery shopping and doing all these errands, or I could do Instacart and like get Amazon delivered, right? I could try to figure out how to do this whole business thing on my own and like develop a sales team and all these things. Or I could hire somebody and show me how to do it so I don't have to spend all the time, energy, resources trying to figure all that out, right? So I want you just to be thinking money versus time. If time really is important to you, then you might have to invest some of the money to get some of your time back. Make sense? Okay, so we covered quite a lot in a short amount of time. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions and I can dive in even deeper to some of these things. So we talked about credit card hacking and best credit cards based off of where you're spending your money in your business. And as you spend more money in your business, you'll be like, oh, sweet, I get to use all these, like we get free vacations because of our business and how we spend money in our business, right? Automate your investments, buy used cars. And if you can figure out how to take a liability and turn it into an asset, that is like the sweet spot. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. If you have the story in your head of like, I can't afford to do X, you might just be like, to say it bluntly, lazy, because you could go to Facebook Marketplace or find people's stuff on the side of the road, take that and resell it, take someone's trash, turn it into someone else's treasure. You could flip. And you could make an easy $5,000 a month if you did that you could then reinvest learning how to do the right things in your business. Okay. Gary Vaynerchuk has tons of videos on YouTube about how to actually do that, but it's simple. Like take someone's trash, turn in someone's treasure, flip it, make a profit, reinvest that into yourself. Other thing, just going off of all of it as this is coming to my head, because I don't have this podcast ever scripted and it's always what's going to serve you and what comes up to my head as I'm talking. Always be thinking multiply your money. So as we're making money in this business, I'm not going out and saying, how can I spend it and get this nice fancy thing? With the exception of my Chanel purse. That was more of an incentive though. We're thinking, how can we multiply it? So how can we take money from this business, turn it into a money machine, reinvest it into other things like buying more cars, buying land in Senegal, buying our equestrian property, investing it into different index funds, right? So we're looking at take the money, multiply the money. Don't take the money and spend it or hoard it. Take it, multiply it. Also, we talked about money versus time. Adding in there, the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. So yes, we invest in buying land. Yes, we invest in stock market, all those other things. The best money that I have ever spent, the best money I've ever invested was in my own personal education of learning and working with different mentors, because that has been exponentially grown our wealth, as opposed to me just trying to figure it out on my own through trial and error and all those other things. Okay. If you have follow-up questions, please let me know. You can just shoot me a DM on Instagram at She's Making an Impact. And if you want support in helping grow your business, I know we are towards the end of the year. You could grow so much by January if you get help. So just go to helpmecoachnow.com. Let us support you and really finishing the year strong. You are amazing. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.